Hi guys, this is Cindy from Part-Time Permies, and today we are starting eggs to hatch. So I do like to hatch eggs in February. I'm a couple weeks late getting these started, but hopefully they'll mature and start laying eggs by next September. The goal for that is to have the new chicks start laying before or as the older hens start going into molt and stop laying, so that we still have a continuous supply of eggs. That way the egg production does drop a little bit in the fall, but it doesn't completely stop. Now, it's been hard to time this last couple years just because we were just a little late in hatching eggs or getting enough hens. One pullet started laying last fall when the other hens were starting to go into molt, so we really didn't have many eggs at all through the fall. So timing is right to do this now. So I'm setting up our incubator to hatch eggs. I've been saving eggs for the last 2 weeks from my breeding flock. I'm trying to breed my birds to a broader breasted bird, bigger bird, a little more winter hardy. So working on that. Now this time of year when the eggs are being laid, you have to catch them before they freeze to make sure they're viable. So I'm not sure I caught all of these eggs quite in time. So I am going to fill this incubator up with eggs and just hope for the best that at least I caught some of them, hopefully over half. Because the other thing you have to count on is that half of them will be boys. You need twice as many eggs incubated than you want for numbers of hens. And you also have to be willing to figure out what to do with the boys. For us, they become co-companion. Okay, so here's our incubator set up. We're gonna get the eggs in there soon. I've already turned it on, gotten it up to temperature. Get it focused. There we go. Got it up to temperature already. Humidity is still going up. We want it around 50%, give or take. We're at 38% right now. So the way this one works is you do have a place to put water here that goes into a system underneath the hatching area there that just keeps the humidity at the right level. And again, you want it about 50% through about 3 days before hatch. So that's what we'll do here. Get that set up and get the eggs in here. The nice thing about this one is it's auto set for chickens, so it will keep the right temperature and humidity. Well, humidity you control, but it will keep the right temperature for 21 days, and it'll have a countdown of those 21 days going. The other thing it does is it auto turns your eggs. So you want to rotate the eggs once a day. Hen normally does that herself, but this machine will do a little rotation once a day. It's not too far off. I'm just gonna add a little bit more water. So on this incubator, you want the pointy end pointing towards the middle. So the pointy end of the egg points towards the middle of the incubator tray so that these eggs roll the correct direction. And then this, as the tray turns, the eggs will roll just a little bit every day. And that kind of simulates the mother readjusting the eggs every day as she gets up to go on her once a day trek to go eat. You do want as clean eggs as possible in here. Most of these are pretty darn clean, but there are some with a couple little specks. You want to keep the eggs you want to choose. You want to make sure they're not overly large, overly small. You want odd-shaped eggs. Pretty much just want some standard eggs that look good, that's pretty clean to hatch out to have the best success rate. Now I have had one hen who must have had a double yolker that she sat on because she ended up with one extra chick. I counted her eggs. So you can have twins occasionally, but I don't know how well they would incubate and what percentage of those would survive. So we want the highest potential survival. So we have our prettiest, least dirty eggs in here, and hopefully eggs that weren't frozen. So we're just gonna put the lid back on. Of course, that cooled down this whole thing a little bit, so it'll warm back up and the humidity will go back up. Get that on there. This cord is actually the egg turner, so we're gonna plug that in right here. This cord is the electricity. So that's now heating back up and coming back to our humidity level. It'll trap the humidity. There is a vent over here that you want at least partially open, but you can adjust it to adjust the humidity. So if your humidity is a little bit low, you can close it down a little bit because the heat in there will help evaporate the water that you put in there. Right now we're looking pretty good. If the humidity is a little high, you just open the vent further. So this will do its thing for days 1 to 18. And then you take this plug out and you adjust the humidity a little bit. You increase the humidity for the last 3 days. That kind of simulates the hen on lockdown. The last 3 days of lockdown, they don't get up off the nest. They stay on the nest for those last 3 days as the chicks start hatching. Now, that could end up being 5 days because some chicks hatch a couple days after the initial ones. But this is day 0 of hatching our eggs. We'll come back in 3 weeks and give you an update on what our success rate is. So we'll cross our fingers that not too many of these eggs were frozen solid, and hopefully most of them are viable. I'll see you next time. Hi guys, this is Cindy from Part-Time Permies, and today we are going to set up our incubator for hatching chicks. So no hatching? You don't want to hatch chicks?
No.
You don't want to have baby chicks like we did last year?
No.
You don't want it takes a little time.
No.
We're going to put some eggs in the incubator.
No.
After 3 weeks, they hatch chicks.
No.
You don't want little chicks?
No.
No, thank you. Do you want to help me with the eggs? I guess Mama will be doing this by herself.